Hey everybody, it's I don't know, Tuesday-ish. 102 degrees inside. And I'm sitting here. I've got a little you sound like an airplane taking off. I've got a fan blowing on me really, really loud. Battery powered fan. So just figured I'd come and do a Facebook, no, excuse me, do a YouTube live. Yeah, I've been going back and forth about whether I should do a rant, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do that in written form. In written form, people tend to take my tone a little better. Maybe think that I'm being a little bit more comedic. I think live, people think I'm too serious. But I just want to say hi. If you're out there, make a comment if I can figure out how to work the comments. Hmm. And so just let me know you're out there. Let me know if the video is working all right. If you got any sound. I'm having a shiner box at the office. Trying to stay a little cool until the sun goes down. It is toasty warm, 102 when I press the button. Hey Adam, I'm here too. Good to see you. If anybody has any questions or anything about the how we do stuff series, my eyes are really red because I've it's been really really hot today. I'm having a little allergies going on too. So, anyways, if you got any questions about anything, how we do stuff, tools, food, beverages, staying cool in the heat, which I'm trying to do. But that's why I got this cold beers to put it on my pressure points. Chill out a little bit. I don't know if I can show it here, but I got some live viewers. Let me see if I can work this thing. Got some live viewers here. Now you may think, why does Bunker have cats in his office? Well, because I've got rats or mice in my office. Try to refix this thing now. And they play all day long and all night long or whatever. So they probably will disrupt me at some point. Hey, so if you're out there, say hi, check in, ask questions, make comments. Was kind of torn all day today about whether I should get on here and just go on a full-on rant about stuff, and that really, really irritates me. But the longer I think about it, the more I think, hey, there's something I bought at the. I got distracted. The more I think about it, the more I think I probably should do it in written form. I don't want people to think I'm being exactly too serious. Does your root cellar temperature vary at all in the extremely dry years? Yes, and during the summer, it swings pretty. It gets pretty warm down there. It's probably in the mid to high 70s right now, which is pretty warm for a root cellar. I need to do some work on it. I need to put some mulch, maybe a foot of mulch on it, and then get some bushes and stuff planted on it. It was either that or plant or build a roof line that I could catch water off of over it and have that water running to the cistern. That may be what I end up doing, but for right now, it gets a little warm down there. It's perfect down there for about 8 months a year, but for 2 3 months, maybe four, it gets a little warm down there. So you don't want to store a whole lot of, vegetables is fine, and the anything that's canned is okay, but like storing butter and cheese and stuff down there can be a little iffy during the middle of the summer. So those are best handled another way, and it depends. Every summer is different. Hey, if you have any questions or comments or anything you want to talk about, let me know. I'm sitting here having a beverage, trying to stay a little bit cool. Today was a hot one, and this week, the next 10 days is supposed to be really, really hot. I mean, we're talking 107, 105 to 107. And so I haven't been able to have much power down here at the office because I've been using the inverter to run the water pump at the uh, at the tank or the pond so that we could keep the gardens alive during this really, really hot spell. So So we were watering for about 4 or 5 hours today. I need to get another inverter that's a smaller inverter, a cheaper one, just to have down there. And then I have to get a battery for that solar panel system we have down there. For now, until I can get those, I'm having to pull the car around there and leave the car running, hook up the inverter, and run the pump. We got a new Ryobi pump, which is really, really good, and we can run it in a backup situation off of 18-volt batteries. But I need to get an inverter and a new battery for down there so I can just run it full on solar. We don't have a whole lot of water in the tank right now in the pond because it's been so dry. We got an inch of rain Friday, I think, but other than that, it's been really, really dry. Got a lot of videos in the works. I'm working on one on how we do stuff making bourbon, and I've got a couple others that I'm working on. I would look them up, but they're here on the phone, which is the camera. All right, if you're out there, say hi. Grant. No, I thought you wanted me to rant on your program tomorrow on the Riff podcast. I'm thinking about just doing the rant in print. I don't know how, maybe if there's enough people on here and they get talking about doing the rant, maybe I'll do the rant. But I'm delaying because I got a lot to say about that stuff. The cats are running around. Hey, Artie, I got a bunch of cats in here. 2 of them. That's a bunch. Kitty, kitty, kitty. They're in here to get the mice. I've got real bad mice problems. And so I got 2 cats down here. If they come over here and mess with me, they usually mess with me so much. My talking has them disconcerted because usually I'm totally silent. And so it has them a little disconcerted right now. I can show you things until someone decides to say hi. Yeah, I think I need to do the written rant. I got these. I got this carving chisel. Some carving chisels. These are not the ones that are for sale. What else I got down here? I got one of these. I'm gonna scare Artie. Probably can't even have one of these in New York. It's a little dirty. I've been using it a lot. I gotta clean it up. It's called a kukri or something. Anyways, I got some other stuff I could show you until someone talks to me. I know you're out there. I got one of these. It's a cheap axe. Come here, kitty. Come here, kitty, kitty. Oh, kitty, kitty. Come here. Oh. They're not falling for that crazy guy with the axe trick. I'm hoping one of them comes over. Usually Hobbs is the really, really friendly one. He's only got a portion of a tail. I have no idea why that is, and it doesn't make any sense to me, but he's right there, and he's probably going to come over here. Hey, Hobbs, come here. I'm not doing cat videos. Hey, everybody. Hello, Scott Glenn. Good to see ya. Y'all ask some questions if you have any comments or anything you want to talk about, anything you want me to talk about, anything you want me to converse about. Don't chew on that. Hey, Hobbs, come here. Oh, yeah. This is Hobbs. He's the friendly one. And he's only got a little bit of a tail. He plays all day long. You all right? Here comes Danielle. I'm on the YouTubes. You can come in. Nobody can see you.
I need some batteries.
You need some batteries. They're hanging on the door right there.
Okay.
What do you want me to rant about? Artie, give me something and I'll go. Give me
Tell
some.
Artie to be quiet.
Danielle said tell Artie to be quiet. You want me to rant in front of this cat? You want me to rant in front of this cat? Look at this cat. Oh. I've been calling Artie a cat lady for years. The other one's not as friendly. Uh, he'll he'll jump up here and want to get petted, but he's on his own schedule. So just give me another topic if you want me to rant about. I just don't want to rant about. There's a lot of stuff to rant about. For example, imprecision in communication is something that bothers me. I put out a post a week ago, and and I wasn't complaining. I just think things ought to be named what they are, and I don't like imprecision in naming things. And so, for example, the term homesteading no longer has any meaning because everyone has adopted, even people that live in cities have adopted the term urban homesteader or whatever, and they've taken the original meaning away from to mean something other than what it originally meant. And so that word doesn't really have any meaning anymore, and that happens to a lot of things. And so there's several people who have YouTube pages who call themselves things, and one of them in particular that I was talking about is about self-reliance. But the guy's obviously got a crap ton of money, and every solution to every problem is not a 12 or $13 axe, but a $500 axe or a skid steer or $1,200 chainsaw, and he just obviously has an endless amount of money to throw at things. And my definition of self-reliance, that doesn't fit. And so I really like some of the people who homestead and they call themselves modern homesteaders or something, because at least they're qualifying about the fact that they're not even attempting to provide for themselves off of their land, which is what homesteading originally meant. Making a parcel of land productive so that you don't have to go somewhere else um, to work. It's not a hobby farm, which is a completely different thing. And today we have people who have yards, who have gardens that call themselves homesteaders, and we have people who have hobby farms that call themselves homesteaders. There are survivalists who are not survivalists. They wouldn't survive any real length of time um, because they don't know how to produce anything. They may know how to consume better than most people, and so that they can consume in a particular area for a while as a hunter-gatherer or whatever with certain survival skills, but they don't have the ability to produce. And if you don't produce, you're not really surviving, you're delaying. Life takes production for it to be maintained for any amount of time. And so, I went off on this, and then people were like, "There's nothing wrong with stocking up food." Well, I never said there was anything wrong with it. I don't have any problem with any. I don't have a problem with the guy who's the self-reliance guy. I just don't think he ought to call himself self-reliant. He has some great skills. I watch his videos. I learn from him, but it's just not self-reliance. And so, if you're going to call yourself something, there should be some accuracy about or some precision as to the language so that people understand. And so one of my biggest problems in a lot of the fields that intersect, I intersect a lot of different fields like survival, preparedness, homesteading, off-grid living, a lot of these different areas. And I wrote an article, and if I can find it, I will link to it down in the description later on to this video. But I wrote an article about the 5 steps to prepper survival maturity. And basically, I was talking about the different ways that people at different stages of their growth in whatever field they're in look at things. And so, somebody who, for example, considers themselves a prepper, well, that's true to an extent. But if you're just talking about stockpiling and putting up stuff, which is fine, I do it too. There's nothing wrong with stockpiling. I don't know why people take my problem with the nomenclature and say that I'm against something. That'll be in the rant that I'm going to do either tomorrow on Artie's program, or I may do it in print. Is that people have complete fallacious logic. They have no ability to understand what logical fallacies are. So I didn't say anything about stockpiling. I'm saying it is a mistake to think that stockpiling or prepping is a long-term survival uh, plan, because it's not. You must produce, and if you don't, you're just adding X days, fill in the blank, until that reckoning. There's going to be a reckoning, and so and I don't have any problem with preppers. I prep stuff myself. But if you think, okay, the only problem that could happen in the world is that the power could go out for 2 or 3 days, could have a hurricane or an ice storm, and so I want a generator, I want some beanie weenies and some Dr. Pepper and these other things, and you stock up that stuff, that's fine if that's what happens. If you've rightly ascertained or examined the times, and that is the worst thing that can happen. But if that's what you have, when we have a systemic or societal collapse that lasts for any number of years and gets worse and worse, which historically has happened to every um, society. Every society has, every empire has collapsed. And in some cases, particularly the Roman Empire, after that collapse, just within 100 years after the fall of Rome, there were goats grazing, wild goats grazing in the crumpled Colosseum, and nobody even knew the technology that had been used to create it. They didn't have any concept. It was like aliens had designed it. And so, the city of all types of amenities that only 100 years later it was like. So there was an apocalyptic situation that happened throughout Europe and most of the world. Uh, and so what I'm saying is if something happens more than a couple of days of loss of electricity, then you've only extended your reckoning with that reality by X number of days. And that just, you didn't just keep increasing that. So whatever you reckon the situation you're prepping for is, um, if you don't have include, so at some point there has to be a recognition that, okay, if anything happens for more than a certain amount of time, I need to be able to produce. And so there's a system of logic that allows me to understand what is production, what is the basis of production, where do things come from. Most of modern society believes, they look around and they see high rises and they see overpasses and they think these things are natural. They're just as natural as grass or trees, but they aren't. They took intelligence and force for those things to be there, and they had to be layered. In other words, what you see when you go into a city or to a society today is has been layered on the knowledge and the understanding of the previous generation, and that was layered on the knowledge and the understanding of the previous generation. So it's cumulative. So when you go out into a big city, Artie's over there in Brooklyn, or excuse me, the Bronx or Queens or wherever he is, and you look around and you see buildings and you see bridges and you see airplanes flying over. None of that is natural. It is the product of brute intellectual and physical force being applied to reality, and for that intelligence and that knowledge and that wisdom and that stuff to work, you have to have a society or a social system that allows enough peace for these things to blossom, these things to work. You can't constantly build structures in the middle of a war. And so, um, let me read what we got here. Accumulative technology, but you require increasing numbers of people. Oh, what happened? Uh, for economies of scale. That's true. That's absolutely true. The issue at hand, though, is that I don't know how to. Is that when the modern man, the mass man, looks at something and he sees a bus pass by on a highway with bridge abutments and railings, there is no system of recognition in him that that's any different than a tree and a bush and some grass and a bear or whatever else. It's just, to them, it's just as natural. And that's why you have a whole generation today that don't mind tearing things up. They don't mind ripping things down, and they want to build in the air. They want to suspend their new society on nothing, because if they burn everything down, you don't just start over. You don't just start over. It takes millennia of development and intellectual. Now they say, well, we have all that knowledge now. We have it all stored. Well, not if you tear it up. It's all on computers now. If you tear it all up, then we don't have it. If you just declare that it's all racist, or it's all uh, uh, part of a wicked past that we don't want to deal with, if you tear down um, uh, to Kill a Mockingbird, and you tear down Huckleberry Finn, and you tear down, what's the racist one, Little House on the Prairie, and you're ripping down all of the infrastructure, and we don't have it anymore, then it's gone. We don't get it back. All right, hold on. We are preparing to either expand our chicken flock to include meat birds or begin raising goats. Do you see a benefit to choosing one over the other? We have the land for either. Always, chickens is always over everything else. And I would say that as far as animal life on a homestead goes, chickens, pigs, um, then any type of other, if you want a cow, milk cow, um, goats or sheep. But chickens are the number one most productive um, animal on any homestead, followed by pigs. Pigs produce more meat per pound of feed or whatever it is, grass that you feed them, but pigs are limited in their utility. In other words, you can use them to plow out the fields, you can somewhat, and turn things over and things like that. But chickens do that, plus they get rid of bugs, which is necessary for your garden, plus they produce manure, which is necessary for your garden, plus they produce eggs without you killing them, and plus they produce meat. So chickens are the very number one thing everyone who's homesteading or survival oriented should have. It takes me a little bit to get these questions. Getting back to the root cellar, how deep is yours? I'm missing stuff. DB said somewhat similar to Mao and China destroying their cultural monuments and artifacts. Yeah, or the Muslims destroying UNESCO sites. Yeah, burning libraries, destroying museums. Um, but we do the same thing. I don't mean we do that, but we're doing that in this country. We're destroying so many things. All right, getting back to the root cellar. How deep is yours? About 11 to 12, about 11 feet. Do you think making it deeper would make enough difference to make it worth the effort? Yeah, it would. It would take a little bit of engineering to do it, and it would take a lot of physical labor, because once you've already got it dug, if you're going to go deeper, or if you're going to do something like that, then you everything has to be hauled out by hand in small batches, rather than when you don't have a roof on it and all that. Um, So yeah, I would definitely probably go deeper if I had to do it over again. I would also do a different type of roof that has some type of cover built over. If I was building right now, I would build my root cellar underneath a structure, so that you have this structure that's stopping heat from beating on it, and you have that footprint that takes water farther away from the root cellar. Not that I have a water problem, but we have in the past. And so, hey, if you got any questions, comments, or anything else, if you want me to continue any particular rant, I don't know if I already got mad at that rant, because I was talking bad about the people tearing stuff up, and he's all for that. Drinking a Shiner Bock. I'm not stoned. My eyes are a little red because I'm both tired, and I've had sweat coming into my eyes all day, and a little bit of allergies, as you can tell. So that's all that's going on here. And I do need my glasses to read comments. So if you got any comments, throw them up there. I don't know where I was on my little discussion, but anyway, I forget things. I'm getting older. I'm trying to sit back a little bit because I got a fan right here. I'm trying to stay cool. I don't know what the temperature is right now. Um, Let me know where what the temperature is where you are. But it was 102 when I hit play or hit go live. Uh, it says 100 degrees right now, and it's starting to get a little darker out there. What do y'all want to talk about? What do you want me to talk about? If you got questions, comments, commentary, discussion points, anything else? Delicious Shiner Bock. I'm not getting paid by them. It's just what I'm drinking. Oh, I think I went off on that whole little rant because I was talking about imprecision in language and that people are using nomenclature or the ability to name things without any real knowledge of what that really means. White reflects heat to some stupid point. So I spread a thin layer of crushed gypsum gravel over my root cellar ground. Yeah, I think that would work. I would rather use plants. Plants also reflect heat, but they also uh, themselves aspire or whatever it is and cause a cooling effect. So, but other than that, I would probably put a building, and I'm thinking about doing at some point a shed roof over the root cellar, and then just using that as a water catchment, pure on water catchment. Putting gutters on it with a downspout that goes into a pipe that goes under the road and then goes right into my cistern. So it would just be more square feet of water catchment going into the cistern, but it would also provide that insulative layer between that roof line and the root cellar. You know, when I built that root cellar, I never expected it to last maybe 10 years, and it's in great shape. Great shape engineering wise. It's been fantastic, and so I'm just going through ways that maybe we could keep it cooler. It stays pretty cool, really, for where we are, but it's it's a little warm down there right now, relatively. I mean, when it's 106 outside, you can go down there and it'll be 30 degrees cooler. So it's not really hot down there. It's just, you know. Hey, if you're out there, say hi. Let me know you're out there. I don't know who all is out there. I'm just hanging out, having a beer and discussing Roman Empire with my friends. Somebody could get me going on that again. My root cellar is carved right into the bedrock, iron oxide containing even with good old, I don't know what good soil is it, but good soil on it. Nothing wants to grow well. Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Mine's almost 100% clay on top of it. And so we would probably put maybe a 6 inches to a foot of mulch and then just plant bushes and some type of landscaping plants. And they would probably grow just fine. This time of year, I might even have to put a sprinkler or something on there, which is problematic. What's going on? I don't know what the kitties are doing. They're trouble. So if you're out there, say hi. If you have questions or comments, anything you want to talk about. It really, really requires somebody asking questions for me to get onto a good run. How about a writing update? Yeah, sure. I'm working on a lot of things right now. Most people know that I'm working on Legendarium with Kevin Summers. And I just put out the last chapter at the beginning of the month, which was chapter 5, I think, which was part 2 of Carol's trip into Gogol's The Cloak, which is a Russian novel. It's actually the father of Russian novels. And then the third and final part of that mini story, which is in Legendarium 2, will be next, not the 1st of August, but the 1st of September. Then we should have that book done by the end of the year. I'm working on a secret project that I can't tell anybody about already. At least I didn't know I was allowed to tell anybody about it. And then I'm also working on a book with a Cambodian film director about the killing fields and the aftermath of the Cambodian genocide of the late 70s and or early 70s. And of course, I'm working on Futurity. Been working on that for 5 years. And I think I got 2 or 3 other projects going. Down to a brisk 86 degrees on the Texas coast. Boy, I sure would. All right, so I'm working on a project with Artie. He says he gave me permission to talk about it. And it is a expansion or continuation of a short story that he had in his recently very awesome anthology, Gravity City. So one of those stories I'm expanding on with him, and that should be out fairly soon because it's going along pretty well. But I am writing. I also just recently, if I can find it, it may be here, it may not be here. I recently wrote what may be 100-page little booklet on fasting, which I don't know what I'm going to do with that. It's probably going to go on my website. If you guys haven't seen it, go check out michaelbunker.com. It's still not really up and running fully, but it's there. All the structure is there. And go to michaelbunker.com, and I think that's where I'm going to put that little booklet. Yeah, about fasting, which is kind of becoming more and more popular. But I wrote this some time ago, maybe in the late winter, early spring. And if you see me rubbing myself, it's because it's 100 degrees, and it's 100 degrees in this building. And so I got sweat constantly. This is why I'm healthy. I got sweat running down me, and it gets itchy sometimes when you got, it's like, you got sweat running down you. I got a fan blowing on me, though, so I'm cool. My temperature is cool. Hey, kitty, kitty. There's Tigger. I got Tigger and Hobbs, and they're here for the mice. Hopefully they're doing something with the mice. And so I had them out for 3 or 4 days, then they started acting up, so we had to put them up, took them back up to the cottage. Well, the next day there was mouse crap on my desk, so I got to have the mice down here. I mean, the cats down here, or the mice will play. That's just the way it is. It's taking me forever to drink this beer. What are y'all doing out there? Say hi if you got a question, comment. Survival, preparedness, homesteading, off-grid living, writing, fiction, philosophy, religion, other topics, not politics. Mostly. And by the way, if you have things you want me to talk about or questions about these things, put them down in the comments section on this video, which will be posted after the live. And you can ask questions, and if I get to it during a Q&A. I haven't done any Q&As recently, even though I've said I was going to, because the questions are not questions. The people are all smartasses, and they think they're funnier than I am. So I ask for questions, and people are like, make a video about eating a Chevrolet or something stupid. And or there are suggestions for videos, which you can't answer during the Q&A. If someone says make a video about tortilla making, that's not a question. I appreciate the suggestion, and I want those suggestions down in the comments. If you want me to make a video about something, put it in the comment section. But when I say, hey, you have any questions for Q&A, make a video about tortillas, is not a question. I can sit here in front of the camera and go, okay, I'll try. DB asked, have I ever talked about the Dead Sea Scrolls? Not really. I really don't have much to say about them. They are apocryphal writings. Can be of interest historically, but not really that interesting to me. They don't really add anything that I know of to a massive body of knowledge. There's a lot of writings during that epoch that pseudepigraphal, pseudo-religious writings. I've got a shelf right here. Let me loosen this up. And that whole 2 series here is the ante-Nicene and post-Nicene writings, and that's like more than a lifetime of reading, and most of that's not even any good. Most of that is garbage. So yeah, stuff is what it is. People have been writing junk for thousands of years, and some of it can be interesting and can have some historical value, but I haven't really gotten into that too much. I've read the Apocrypha, and I've read a lot. I read in these books every week. I don't know what's going on. Cats are messing around. I think I finally finished this beer. Almost. Hey, kitty, kitty. Hey, if you've got a question or comment, if I've missed anything, rewrite it in or direct me to it. I got to figure out how to do this. All right, put your questions and comments in the section, and I can read them when they come up, if they come up. All right, so if no one's talking, then there's no really reason to be here. So I'd like to hang out. I got another last beer to share with you, if you would like, but that's up to you. I know you can kind of see your own reflection of me in my glasses. It's not your reflection, it's the reflection of the camera. So if you got any questions or comments, put them in there. Oh, what's going on, kitty, kitty? What are you going to do? Come over here? Huh? No, not going to do it. So I'll just do you a quick view of a tiny, tiny portion. I need to grease that thing up. Tiny, tiny portion of this. And then this way, a lot more. Oh, that is horrible. I should work on that. That needs to be greased up. That's probably even horrible to watch. I think the light is kind of giving out as well as the evening comes along. All right, where are we? Sounds like tight leather pants. Yeah, I guess. I've never worn those, but whatever floats your boat, Artie. Hey, anybody got anything you want to talk about tomorrow? And it's going to depend on what the temperature is, because I explained to Artie I plan on being on the Riff Raff podcast tomorrow. But if it gets over 107-ish, then I'll probably, the cats are fighting. I'll probably take the family to the lake to go, because that gets dangerous. That's when it starts to get dangerous. You take care of all the animals, make sure they're all watered down, they got water, and then take the family to the lake till the sun goes down, because it can, and we're going to have about a week of those 104, 105 to 107 temperature. Stop it. Quit being jerks to each other. That's my message to the world. Stop being jerks to each other. Hey, has anybody got a question or a comment or anything you want to talk about? Type it in there, or else I'm going to put on YouTubes and watch people polish axe heads. That's probably what I'll watch. Yum, yum. I'll give you just one more minute. Type something in. Woo, it's hot. I'm going to look at the fan for a minute. Cool off. I wonder if the temperature, it's starting to get dark out there. This light right here, where's my finger? There, is a little deceptive. How many pounds of pork did you get? I'm going to guess. 150 pounds. That is probably what we ended up getting. I don't know what his live weight was. His hanging weight was 184 pounds. And we got sausage and cubes and pork chops and the lard. And so I don't know exactly what it'll end up being. Danielle did a great job today canning. I think she did maybe 5 or 6 canner loads, maybe more, maybe 7, maybe 6. I don't know. Stop it. People can't just be nice. It is right now, it's dropped dramatically. It's dropped almost 10 degrees. Dropped 9 degrees since I've been here. It was 102 when I started. Those 2 guys on Primitive Technology were making wood ash cement about 4 hours ago. Well, I need to watch that. I need to watch that. I don't know, Gerald, if you watched the Primitive Life one where he built the swimming pool. I just watched that one a little while ago. Um, there's a couple of those shows. I like Primitive Life and I like the Primitive Technology one. And there's one with a lady, and I think it's called Primitive Life too. But it's got a lady on there, and she's kind of making I think she just dug a hand-dug well. Woo! I need one of these. Hold on. I don't know what this is. It's some kind of instruction booklet. Got questions, comments, things you want to talk about? I'm drinking a beer here, but I'm going to turn it off and go watch the YouTubes. Going to go watch some guys make cement out of ash, as Gerald suggested. Oh, gotta stay cool. Oh yeah, Mercy, you gotta stay cool. Sitting here in front of the fan. Got a window open there. Doors open over there. What's up, cats? This is the crazy time. This is when it's cooled off enough that they're not just sitting there with their mouth open. And now they're just like running wild. I think that girl has someone else doing the work. Of course you do, you misogynist. Now it's acting up. It's not bringing up the comments. I got half of that comment read. I have a feeling that my battery might be going dead. Yeah, it is. All right. Girl has someone else doing the work before they record the video. I think there's some of that going on all of those. I've watched, I just watched the swimming pool video from the Primitive Life guy. And the clue, they cover it up really, really well. But the clue is the amount of cement. Because if you watch him when he makes cement, first of all, he had to build the kiln for the lime. And then he had to build the pit for slaking the lime. Then he has to haul the sand. Then he has to haul the clay. And you watch him make it, and it's a significant amount of time to make 3 or 4 little pots. Well, then he's making a swimming pool and the equivalent of one of those big trucks full of cement. It would take him months to make that much in the small batches he was making. And he does this whole swimming pool in a matter of maybe less than a week. You can watch when the sun goes down and it gets dark and all that. So I think what they do, and they're taking a little liberties. It's still, he knows how to do it, and I don't have a real problem with it. But I think they show them starting the project, and then they zip forward. They got a crew of people that come in and do stuff, like they bring in a concrete truck or whatever. And, you know, I think most of us are going to figure that out. I'm not disappointed in it. You know, maybe someday somebody will start one of those shows and they're like, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm not going to have any help. The Primitive Life guy at least does all his own camera work. And so there's a little bit more to it. And the Primitive Technologies guys, there's a cameraman there moving around. And so I think there's a little bit more production going on. But we'll see. Hey, guys, I got to go. I'm starting to lose battery here. Hold on. Let me read the comments one more time if I can get them to come up. It's real weird because the battery's starting to give out. All right. All right. Yeah, those guys are lazy. Rant. I already did my rant earlier. You got to go back and watch it if you missed it. Hey, y'all. I got to turn in. It's been great. Been on here 45 minutes. We'll do this another time when there's a little bit more light. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have comments or questions or anything you want to talk about on another video, just put it down in the comment section. Go right now. Go down in the comment section and type in your question or comment. And I appreciate talking to you guys, and we'll talk to you again soon.